Hi, everyone. This is Success Mindset Coach Sandra, and I want to share something very inspirational that happened to me actually twice this week. And twice it was with peers and friends of mine in the eutaptics community, people that I am definitely connected with. And I feel very fortunate about what happened. And I hope this is inspirational to all of you, but especially geared more towards you level 1 and level 2, I would say, because sometimes when we're entering a new modality or a new philosophy, or perhaps a philosophy that we are a part of in a community, we want to certainly walk the talk. And this is kind of what this story is about. Before I begin sharing what I found inspirational and healing and beautiful, I will say that, as we all know, not just, Robert embraces this, really personal development, but in eutaptics, one of the reasons why we want to tap and work on our memories, right, is to heal ourselves. And the reason why we want to heal ourselves is because we don't want to carry those negative references in our life that dominate, or they're the drivers really to our life as we know it. And I don't want to go into all the ins and outs of that, but just the awareness of it, right? So when we have a problem or we project on other people, which, by the way, we all project on people, I think it's just kind of built into the human being. The problem isn't so much projections as I see it. The problem can be and is mostly when we are married and rooted in our projections of other people without really learning to communicate appropriately with others, or to ask questions to see if indeed our projections are founded on truth or not, right? So no matter how educated we are or how many languages we speak, we all can have a tendency to fall into projections. We are encouraged in eutaptics, and especially in the community, to really walk the talk when we are bothered by somebody else, when we have a problem with someone else or a situation, because we are constantly in relationship with people and with things and with situations, right? We're in relationship with our partners. We're in relationship with our home, where we live, how we work, etc. So we're encouraged to tap on anything and memories associated, references that we have inside of ourselves in order to make the shifts that we need to. So now I'm coming to my story. One of the things that I've believed ever since I was actually a much younger woman is really believe in finding solutions, being able to work with people as a team, even when it's uncomfortable, even when we might not like someone's personality, and or when we are triggered, or when we trigger other people. My goal has always been, in my personal and professional life, to find solutions, to work together, to be transparent. This is part of transparency. I realize it's not always easy for everyone, including myself, that when we do have an issue with someone, or when we are projecting and we begin to tell the story, we start making stories in our head about someone or about a situation or whatever it might be, is that we sometimes fall into that story and we can't pull ourselves out. And so we're encouraged to tap, we're encouraged to use the art of change, we're encouraged to seek out upper level practitioners, or go to Robert himself, for example, for sessions if we can't move and transform on our own these things. Of course, we're always learning to transform ourselves and to become emotionally intelligent and mature. So one of my peers this week came to me, and she had a projection that she was dealing with. And one of her situations, it wasn't necessarily about me, but there was a memory that did come up that was starting to feed a narrative that she had. This person is also a friend of mine. And in the session, she was a little bit, I think, embarrassed, if I remember, and wasn't sure, and had been mulling over and contemplating if she should bring this projection she had, or these fears, or whatever insecurity she was feeling, to me, because it had to do with me, right? And of course, I'm a metaphoric expression to something that she's holding inside of herself. So she did. And of course, I received her willingly and lovingly. It had nothing to do with, I didn't do anything, just to kind of make that clear. But even if I had, I think it's really important that, and brave of her, that she actually came to me. And we tapped on it. And of course, other memories came up for her. I'm telling this story because I feel that everything I've worked for towards attracting this kind of people is really beautiful for me to experience in this lifetime. When you are working with other people and you have friends or you have family or you have a partner and you have conflict, whether that conflict is literally, binary, or if it's just a projection that we have. But this particular peer colleague of mine had the courage to come to me and want to resolve it with me. And we worked through it and we came out stronger, and we just told each other we loved each other because it was so wonderful. And I'm sharing this story because we don't hear enough about conflicts that are resolved. There was also another situation from another peer of mine who had an observation. And through that observation, we ended up sort of tapping together on this observation. And it brought us even closer together. So these were two women in the community that I was able to do this with and hold that space. And I know this is going to sound a little immodest, but that's okay. We need to do this. We need to sort of pat ourselves on the back, that when we do have something that bothers us, when we do have someone that bothers us about their personality or what they said or the way they treated us, whatever that projection is, to have the courage to work on it. It's even more courageous and brave to be able to go to the person and be so transparent and vulnerable, but yet strong, because it takes a lot of strength and a lot of discipline and a lot of love for oneself to say, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to tell this person, or whatever it might be. And it was just a beautiful experience. So many times we can be part, and I've been a leader in different organizations during my lifetime. And so many times within organizations, they're made of people, just like politics and just like religions and all this stuff. And we're all at different places. We all have things that we need to heal and that we need to face. Primarily, we need to face ourselves. And when we face ourselves, when we have what, I used to study Buddhism, and I was a Buddhist for many, many years. And one of the things that the teacher, the leader of the organization I was involved with, always encouraged was that we are kind of like, imagine a bunch of potatoes inside boiling water, sort of rubbing and cleansing and cleaning ourselves, right? If you can imagine the potato skins, kind of as the water's boiling, you're kind of cleaning out the dirt or the residue of it. And that's what we do for each other. And that's why relationships are really important. No matter how many times we get a divorce or leave this person, girlfriends, boyfriends, jobs, or whatever, when we have a pattern, one day we have the choice of actually facing it. One day we have the choice of facing our projections and saying, is that really true, right? Is it really true that this person is this way? And I have many times extended an olive branch, for example, and not had the opportunity or whatever to maybe resolve with an individual, but it's not a reflection about me. It's a reflection about where they are. And that's what we have to remember. And I want to encourage all of you to really think about it as you are progressing, whatever level you are, and how, whatever religion you practice and whatever modalities you happen to embrace, whether they're spiritual or not, it doesn't really matter. It's a choice that we make to be brave and transparent and courageous with ourselves. These two people, or the three of us individually, of course, we had moments of healing, moments of insight. It doesn't make one person wrong or bad, or me bad or wrong. But when you can come together and just be there and say, this is the way I'm experiencing the situation, or this is what I'm feeling, and to come together and not take it personal and work through it. This is beautiful. And I think that this is really where the rubber meets the road in any spiritual practice and in any modality, including eutaptics. It's time that people raise the bar for themselves and for each other, to say it's not enough to just learn a concept. It's not enough to just do swaps and then practice on other people. Robert always encourages us as well that when we are working on other people, we can work on ourselves at the same time, right? How he has done it many times with his own stuff, just tapping it away. And he says this for a reason, or at least my interpretation is because of that, because we want to clean ourselves up. We want to clean our minds. We want to clean the way we hold on to things, whether we're jealous or envious, whether we're projecting, whatever it might be. It's not wrong. The anger's not wrong. The so-called negative feelings, or however it is, thoughts aren't wrong. It's just a choice that we're making constantly to change those references within us so that we can really create and design the life that we want. I'm all about relationships and all about connection. And I just feel so fortunate that in my personal development and all the things that I've been able to clear in my mind, I had the gift of these two women. And there's so many more stories, by the way, that I have in regards to this. I feel so blessed and so fortunate to have some really kick-ass people around me that are willing to go where it's not easy. And I feel kicked ass because I'm willing to go there with them. I'm willing to go and face my own shadow self, right? We do this together like the boiling potatoes, right? That kind of rub on each other and clean each other up. So to me, this is really about that. I have in the past asked other people, to tap on it or when there's an issue. And it's very interesting. There's no judgment to it, but it is interesting to find out who is willing to use this modality to its fullest, right? Or to half-ass it. It's a choice, right? Because we can all go through the emotions. We can all just go through it and talk a good talk, and we can advertise how great of practitioners we are. We get all the great testimonials we want. But at the end of the day, we have to face ourselves. At the end of the week, who's there but us, alone, with our own shadow and our own light? So I know that those of you who are watching, you know who you are. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your love, for your sisterhood. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for giving me a chance to really show up as well, right? And for you to show up as you did so that we can help each other heal. This is what it's all about. So the encouragement for maybe a level 1 is to say, keep on going. Where you are in your family, with your partner, with your job, with all the relationships around you, even within this community, if you have an issue, address it, face it. Don't run away from it. And if you find yourself gossiping or you find yourself not wanting to, that is resistance as well. Tap on that, right? There'll come a point, perhaps, in your growth and your maturity where there will be that opportunity to be able to go to that person that you might have had an issue with, whether they intentionally or unintentionally triggered you, and to be able to say, I want to heal this with you. Is there a possibility to do this? Working together and healing is not only what Robert talks about, but it's about all the great sages, really, beyond all the religions that talk about it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Maybe we could even extend it to that. Who knows? But I feel very blessed to know that at least I've walked on this earth and I've experienced what it's like to have somebody who is triggered again, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever metaphor I represented or whatever metaphor they represented, come together and do that. And I just really love this. I really cherish it. It's extremely valuable, right? Because it's very easy to, and I've done it myself, you get frustrated and you start venting about people and you just go on and on and on, right? The narrative. And we always have a tendency of looking at religions and organizations, people and systems, or people's roles, right? As they don't do with what I want them to do. They don't behave the way I want them to do. But the bottom line is there's nothing better than going to the actual source rather than speculating, rather than projecting, because we do this as individuals, but we do this also collectively. That's where we have these group, the herd mentality, and maybe, just maybe one day someone will stand up to that group or to that person and say, no, we need to tap on it. I'm not going to listen to the narrative. I'm not going to listen to the projections. I might give you a couple minutes to just maybe express yourself, but after that, you have a choice. You heal from it or not. Because we can complain until the cows come home, but it's not going to resolve anything. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope this has been an inspiration, and I hope I've at least encouraged some of you to, if you have a problem with someone or anyone, get to the point where you can muster up that courage and go to that person, whether it's a loved one or a colleague or a peer or whatever, and just be open to change. Because the only people that we can change are ourselves and our perception. And once we do that, then we're playing on a completely different field. And that field is full of possibility and opportunity. One last thing, if the other individual or whatever it is that you're confronting does not respond in the same way, remember, it's not you. Clap your hand or pat yourself on the back knowing that you did the best you could, that you were courageous. It's not about you, it's about the other. Okay, all have a good one. Love yourself and peace.